We're going to go through the iPad portion of the poll worker training. Remember, when you get your iPads out of the case, you'll have the 2 iPads, you'll have your 2 stylus, your power cord, your charging block. Remember, when you go to open your iPad, you will push the button down, flip this over, and the easiest way to turn on your iPads is to plug in your power cord here on the side. That will power on the iPad. You'll get the little Apple icon, and then you wait for the app to open. The icon will drop down to the bottom section. We do have a new icon. It's the little tin with the check mark. You will touch that icon. The screen that pops up is your screen that you're familiar with. It will have the precinct name. Always verify your precinct name. Make sure that is the precinct you're working at. If it is not your precinct, then make sure you call the office immediately. Top number, of course, is how many people are registered to vote in the county, how many people are registered to vote in the precinct, how many are registered or checked in on this iPad and this location. This is your battery gauge. When you're plugged into power, that will be green. First thing we're going to do is touch Start. This is where we need you to enter your first name. You can touch in the last name box or hit the next button and type in your last name. Now this is for the person that's going to be operating that iPad. When you touch Continue, we are at our home screen for the day. To update your absentee voters, you will receive your barcode the night before. In a text message, you will touch the 3-line menu. You will touch Update Absentee. You will touch Scan, and then you will simply scan that barcode that you received. That will check in your absentee voters. Now, if you can't get that to work and you call the office, you can do a manual session by touching in the box next to Manual and enter the voter ID number that you're given from the clerk's office and hit Manual, and that will check in the voter. Once you've processed all of your absentee voters, you'll touch the Home button and notice that our check-ins are still at 0 because absentee voters have no effect on the voters that you've checked in. When they come in, you will touch the ID scan, and if you hold your hand back at this back left corner, it'll scan their driver's license. This is the screen that you will verify that voter's address. We will want you to ask, what is your address? When the voter verifies their address, we touch Get Signature. The screen flips upside down, so this is when you flip it, the voter signs, flip it back over. If they don't select Done, you can touch Done. Select Issue Ballot. We're going to put our initials on the screen. Hit Done, and again, your ballot style right here, so you can give that voter their ballot, complete check-in, and process next voter. Now notice that our checking count is at 1. If you have a voter that shows up when you scan their ID, and it comes up in this box that says Inactive Voter, always follow your directions. And it says voter is currently inactive but eligible to vote if address matches. So again, you're going to verify their address. If they say yes, that is their address, you're going to touch the Get Voter Signature screen. If they say, well, I've moved, I now live at 6 Clover Meadow Drive, anytime the address does not match, you will need to call the office. They will instruct you on what you need to do. So if the address doesn't match, you're simply going to touch Home and take you back to the home screen. If you're scanning a voter and it pops up to absentee ballot voted, that means that the voter has already returned an absentee ballot. They are not eligible to vote in the precinct. If the voter insists they did not vote, you'll need to call the clerk's office. The only option you have is process next voter. If you scan a voter and it comes up to absentee ballot sent, the question is, does the voter have the absentee ballot to surrender? If they say, yes, I do, it's right here, you would touch the yes and proceed with the verification and the signature. If they tell you, no, that ballot is at home, then you will select the no button, and it will tell you that the voter is marked absentee. They have not surrendered their ballot. If they do not have the ballot, they cannot vote in your precinct. They must surrender that ballot. So they can either return it to the clerk's office or they can go home and get it and bring it back to you. If you have a voter that shows up and they ask, well, I don't know where I need to go, when you scan this, you can verify the address, and it's always important that you verify the address. If the voter's address is correct, you can touch redirect voter, and this will tell you the precinct and the location that you need to send that voter to. If they want to take a picture of it, you can touch that little icon, flip it over to where they can take a picture of it with their phone. But that's what that little that little button there switches the screen. It's always important that you verify the address, because if that person is moved into your precinct, then you will need to write them in the supplemental book and have them sign that book. They will not sign the iPad. If you have a voter that when you scan that voter or you do a manual search and it comes up with no voter found, okay? This will happen sometimes when they get their driver's license by their legal name, but they've registered to vote by their common name. So if that happens, you can touch the back button and it will show you what it scanned. So if you know that person is Bob, but it scanned Robert, then you can just type in Bob to see. If somebody got married and changed their driver's license but did not change their voter registration, then they get a one-time pass. Make sure they fill out a new registration card and give you that card and write them in the supplemental book. Always verify your count. So at the end of the night, you'll always want to verify your count on your iPads. If you decide it's time to change jobs, you will simply touch the three-line menu. You can touch log out and temporarily log out. Or if you check in a voter and they're not sure what ballot style they get, when you go to the check-in log, it'll show the most recent one at top and their ballot style they should receive. So at night, you will touch log out. Always log out temporarily. Never close the election. They will close the election when they get the iPads back. You will then press and hold the power button. And make sure you press and hold that until you see this slide to power off. And that is what will power off the iPad. It's important that you power off the iPads at the end of the night. You will then unplug your power cord. You can raise the iPad up, close it, return your iPad, your stylus, and make sure you put your charging cable and power block back in the black case.